everybody for joining. So we have today our ElectroNeek platform live tech demo. Your speakers for today, myself, I am head of global campaign marketing for ElectroNeek, and we have Aaron McCullough with us, our sales engineer. And the agenda for today, just a quick intro here from my side. Aaron will take us through the live demo. And then at the end, we'll have a Q&A. So make sure you drop some questions either in the chat or in the Q&A section that you have there. So we take those questions at the end, okay? So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Aaron to start our demo.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Thiago. And as Thiago mentioned, my name is Aaron McCullough, and I'm a sales engineer here at ElectroNeek. So let's just go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll be able to get started. So today we'll be providing kind of a live tech demo. It'll be a kind of a review of all the three main hubs of our platform, which this includes our three main hubs. So we have our automation hub, which includes the tools to build, run, and deploy and manage your automation projects. We also have our service hub, which includes support-related features such as our support and help centers, as well as our community forum. And lastly, we have our business hub, which includes assets to help boost your RPA business. So from what you can see here, this is the My ElectroNeek home portal. So this is where you'll be able to access the various modules of the individual hubs. We have organized everything into the navigation menu here into the individual hubs. So we have everything grouped accordingly to what hub they belong to. As well, we have links to download the Studio Pro software, as well as the Bot Runner applications. You also be able to access the orchestrator, which is where you'll be able to manage your workflows as well as the Bot Runner instances. Additionally, this is where you'll be able to get all your account information. So this also includes under the team section where you'll be able to manage different team members, set up new users, set different access levels, change roles, and more. So that being said, let's go take a little bit deeper dive into our automation hub next. So our automation hub consists of the following modules. So we have our Studio Pro, which is our low-code development environment. We have the Bot Runner, which is the application required to run an ElectroNeek bot. We have our Orchestrator, which is the cloud-based management tool. As well, we have access to our recipes, which are pre-made bots and tutorials. And kind of a brand new feature that was just released last week is our IntelliDocs, which is through the portal here, you're in our automation hub, you'll be able to manage the keys and access to our IDP, or the Intelligent Document Processing tool. So let's take a little bit deeper dive into Studio Pro itself. So I'll just bring up an instance here. So this is Studio Pro. So as I mentioned before, it is our low-code or no-code development environment. This is where you'll be able to create and test your workflow and bots. In the middle, we have what we call our canvas. So this is where you're going to be able to drag and drop activities from the left-hand side menu here into the canvas to start building your workflow. So it's really simple to build the workflow. You basically drag and drop, move things around, connect it where it needs to go, and you'll be able to have start building your bot through that way. Now, as I mentioned, we have a list of different activities on the left-hand side menu here. So all the different activities and different things you can do with the platform here be able to group into their individual functionalities. So under the general tab or section here, we have various logic related activities. So this includes if-then statements. You'll be able to create a do-while loop, assign values to variables. You'll also be able to reference different or sub-workflows or sub-programs through the sub-program activity. You'll also be able to include in various loggings as well as console logs, and be able to open an application in the environment you're working with. We also have a number of human-in-the-loop activities, so you'll be able to allow a user or to input information via dialogue. And you'll be able to display different user notifications as well. You'll be able to allow them to also select a file or folder. So if that's important to part of the workflow, you'll be able to set that up as well. Under GUI or GUI automation, so these are activities related to working with desktop applications specifically. So you'll be able to interact via mouse clicks. You'll be able to input information via keyboard as well as hotkeys. You'll also be able to interact with the user interface as well through these activities. You'll also be able to maximize and minimize and activate windows as well as close a window if you need to. As well, we do have a number of machine vision activities. So this allows you to interact with an application via screen clicks and machine vision, be able to identify where it needs to click and interact with. Under OS automation, so these are different activities related to working with different operating systems. So you'll be able to manage different files and folders on the operating system. You'll be able to get different credentials that have been set up and configured into Studio Pro, which we'll touch base on a little bit later. You'll be able to read and clear information from the clipboard as well as copy information to the clipboard. And under system, so you'll be able to use the command prompt. You'll be able to look for processes as well as different kill process in the environment, as well as shut down an entire computer. Now our MS Office, so these are of course activities related to working with different Office applications. So you'll be able to do different things in activities in Microsoft Word, as well as a number of different activities in Excel. You'll also be able to read emails from Outlook as well as Office 365. Under web automation, so these are activities related to working with desktop browsers and web-based applications or sites. So you'll be able to open up a URL, you'll be able to close a browser, you'll be able to execute JavaScript as well as scrape structured data from a website. You'll also be able to interact with the mouse as well as the keyboard, and you interact with different elements on the UI. So be able to get and set different properties and values, as well as wait for an element to be displayed or hidden. Under Citrix and RDP, so these are different activities related to working with a Citrix or a remote desktop terminal. So you'll be able to interact with those different applications using these different activities here. Under programming, so these are kind of, I like to think of more utility or helper sort of activities. So you'll be able to execute JavaScript code as well as any Python code you might have. You'll also be able to work with different string data. So you'll be able to detect or tell if a string is found in, or a certain keyword is found in a string, as well as you'll be able to extract text from that string as well using these activities. Under date and time, so again, these would be kind of more utility functions, be able to get a current date, you'd be able to calculate differences between different dates as well as an export to a specific format without having to write any code yourself. We also support working with an API, so you'll be able to make HTTP requests. This is kind of comes in handy, especially if you're looking at using, ChatGPT or the GPT API. You'll be able to make API calls to that as well. And we do connect with a number of different databases as well. Once you've connected to the database, you'll be able to execute various queries on that database. Under email, so these are specific activities working with email. So you'd be able to send and read emails both on Outlook and Office 365, but we do also support other email providers such as Gmail as well. Under spreadsheets, so these are specific activities working with spreadsheets. So this includes working with Excel, but it also supports, we also support Google Sheets. So you'll be able to manage and read update values in a Google Sheet. Under document processing, so these are of course related to working with different documents. So we have our new IntelliDocs API or activity ready to go here. So you'll be able to use that to read different document types. As well under OCR engines, so we have support a number of different OCR engines. So this includes Microsoft Cloud, Google Cloud, as well as Abby Cloud. You also have the ability to create a recognition template. So if you're dealing with lots of documents that have the same format, they're the same document, just the data is different, you'd be able to create a recognition template and it'll be able to read those in a template format. Under data extraction, so we support a number of different connections to other OCR technologies as well. And under PDF, so these are different activities related to working with PDF. So you'd be able to read text, extract text from a PDF. You'd be able to convert it to an image, where that comes in handy as you need to send it to an OCR activity. You need to first convert that PDF to an image, or if you use the IntelliDocs, you won't have to do that. The IntelliDocs is able to read a PDF directly. As well, you'll be able to combine multiple files to a PDF. So let's say you have 5 Word documents, you can combine those all together into a single PDF using this activity here. And last but not least, we have a connector to Google Drive. So this is where you'll be able to manage different files and folders in Google Drive once you have that connected. Now that's a list of the various activities, kind of a high-level overview. Under the Elements tab here of Studio Pro, so this is where you'll be able to manage various browser, desktop, as well as terminal elements that you have set up there, where your various activities can then use those. So this can include file menus on a desktop application or buttons on a web page. You'll be able to set those up, and the different activities will be able to utilize those. Under projects, so this just gives you a file level view of the different project files. Now, if we switch over to the right-hand side here, we have our properties, variables, and output tabs. So under the properties tab, so this is where you're going to be able to configure the various activities. So each activity will have different menu and different inputs that are required. One great thing I like about this is that we have a link that goes directly to our knowledge base for this particular activity. So if you need more information, you want to learn a little bit more about how to use it, you'd be able to click this link and it'll take you directly to our Help Center document for that particular activity. And under variables, so this is where you'd be able to see all the different variables that you may have set up. You can set up global variables as well as more local variables. As well, you'll be able to view information once it's run in those particular variables through here as well. Under the Output tab, so this is where you'd be able to configure it to send data from information or from the various variables to the orchestrator and be able to use in other workflows as well. Now, next section, we have our console. So this is located in kind of the bottom middle here. So this is where you can be able to see various execution logs for when you're running the bot through the Studio Pro, as well as any console logs or debug logging that you may have set up. Now, to run a workflow, you simply just need to click the play button at the top here. So the green play button will allow you to run the workflow that's currently displayed. Now, if we go over to the file menu, there's a couple items that I like to highlight. We have the export to Neeks. What that's going to do is allow the workflow to be exported to an executable Neeks file, which you'll be able to run outside of Studio Pro as long as you have the bot runner installed in that environment. Now, as well, we also have the ability to publish to the orchestrator. So once your workflow is all tested, ready to go, you'll be able to publish it directly to the orchestrator, and then you can manage it through the orchestrator, which is our cloud-based management tool. Now, under the settings menu, so here we'll be able to connect it to your account. So you'll be able to connect the Studio Pro to your account. You'll also be able to set up a number of different credentials. So this is login and passwords for sites, applications, databases, basically anything that needs a login password or even like an API key, you'll be able to set that up and be able to use that in the various activities. Now, these credentials, they're not saved in Studio Pro, they're not saved in the bot runner, and they're not saved in the bot. They're all configured or set up and saved as part of the Windows Credential Manager. So for security wise, they're very, very secure as they are controlled on the environment itself. You also be able to set up various services. So for example, if you want to work with Google Drive or Microsoft 365, you'd be able to set up those accounts through here and be able to use those various activities. We also support a number of different browsers. So this includes Chrome, Edge, as well as Internet Explorer, and you'll be able to set that up through here as well. You also have the ability to change the Microsoft activities. So this is specifically to Excel. So you say, for example, you have deployed a bot and they don't have a Microsoft Excel set up in that environment. You'd be able to change this to a more of the generic interaction mode, and then it'll still be able to use some of the basic functionalities of Excel without requiring Excel to be installed in that environment. Here you'd be able to set up a proxy as well as different certificates. and number of different settings on the execution of the bot through Studio Pro. We also support a number of different languages, so you'll be able to change the language to depending on your preference, as well as we have two different themes, a light and a dark mode, and I'm currently displaying it in the dark mode now. So that kind of wraps up Studio Pro. What I'd like to do next is kind of show you a quick demo of this particular bot that we've got displayed here. This bot does use our new IntelliDocs API, so you'll be able to, what it's going to do is basically loop through, get a list of files in a directory. These files are going to be different utility bills. So as you can see here, they are all from different providers, all of a different format. So it's going to go through each of those, and then it's going to be able to classify those different utility bills once the information is extracted using our IntelliDocs API. And then once it's done, finished classifying it, it's going to extract the amount and then update an Excel spreadsheet as displayed here. I'll just bring that up. So we'll be able to put the different information into here and save it. So let's go ahead and run this, and we'll be able to see it running live. Now, when a bot is run, you do have a little bit of a status window here. It gives you an indication as to what's happening currently step by step. So it's going through each of those files, it's extracting the information, and then updating the Excel file accordingly. Should be on at least the second to last one, if not the last one. And then once it's done running, we can go check out the Excel file and to see the results. So it's finished successfully. I'll go open up the Excel file again. And as you can see here, we have the amount. It's also been classified as a specific type based off of the information that was extracted using the IntelliDocs API. So that's a quick demo and a quick overview of the Studio Pro. So from here, let's kind of we'll take a little more look at our bot runner application. So I'll just bring it up here. So the bot runner application, as I mentioned before, it is what's required to run an ElectroNeek bot. So this is what needs to be installed in the client environment or on a VM or virtual machine environment for it to be able to run the bots. Now you can connect it as well to the orchestrator and manage it through there. As well, you can set up similar credentials as you showed through Studio Pro through the bot runner here, and these would be specific to the environment that the bot runner application is being installed. So another note is that we don't have any restrictions on the bot runner as terms of license-wise. So say, for example, you need to install the bot into 50 different client environments, you'd be able to install the bot runner application in those 50 different client environments without hitting any license restrictions at all. So you'd be able to really create and develop unlimited bots. So that's kind of overview of the bot runner application. So from here, let's go back into our account portal and we'll take a little bit of a review of the orchestrator. So the orchestrator is essentially where we'd be able to manage the various workflows as well as bot runner applications. So when you first load it on the dashboard, you're kind of given a high level overview of kind of what's currently happening in this particular orchestrator instance. Now up at the top right-hand corner here, you have the ability to change between different instances. So if you have multiple orchestrator instances, you'll be able to navigate using this menu at the top here. Now, if we go over to our workflows tab, so this is where you'd be able to see all the various workflows that have been deployed to this orchestrator instance. So you're given a kind of a high level or table list view of the different workflows. Once you click on one of the workflows, you're given a little bit more information here. So you'll be able to do some different configurations through this menu here. You'll be able to give an indication as to number of assigned bot runners that this particular workflow has been assigned to. You'll be able to see if it's been set on a schedule. You'll be able to see the next launch time as well as the scheduled time. You'll be able to see the current status. So this is a high level overview of kind of what this current workflow is. As well, you'll be able to set up email alerts on failure. So you'll be able to set up users or emails through here and be able to, so if there's something does go wrong, they'll be notified right away via email. You'll also be able to set up webhook links. So if you need to execute a particular workflow via an HTTP request, you'll be able to configure that webhook link and you'll be able to make that request to execute a workflow through the in-API request. Now you'll also be able to configure the collection of different logs. So you'll be able to collect the execution logs as well as any console logs. Now these logs can be viewed through here as well. So through at the bottom on the run history here, we have this green kind of page icon here. And this is where you'll be able to click to view the various logging. Now, once you have a bot runner application configured or set up with this particular workflow, you will be able to run it directly from this interface as well. So you'll be able to select a specific bot runner and then click the run now, and that'll execute that particular bot in that environment. Now, under the run history, so this is, of course, where you're going to see the various history of all the different executions. So you'll be given an indication as to was it successful, any errors, how long it took, as well as you'll be able to view the logs through here as well. Now under the assigned bot runner, so this is where you're going to configure the bot runner to be tied to this particular workflow. So as I mentioned before, you can have multiple bot runners set up or configured to run the same workflow. So you'll be able to set it through this interface here, select it from the list, and then check which ones are appropriate. Now as well under schedules, so this is where you'd be able to set up a schedule for the particular workflow. So you'd be able to set up a repeatable or a one-time run. And we have a number of different date time functions, including a custom. And so you'd be able to set up the different parameters here. You'll also be able to exclude days as well. So say, for example, you want it to run particular workflow to run Monday to Friday, but not on a Sunday or Saturday. You'd be able to configure that through here as well. So that's an overview of what's in the Workflows tab. Next, we'll kind of shift over to the Bot Runners tab in the orchestrator here. So this is where you'll be able to connect the various Bot Runner applications to the orchestrator. Now it is done through a token system, so you'll be able to generate an access token here, give it a unique name that you'll be able to identify it visually, and then click generate and we'll generate that token. Once you have that token, then you take it to the Bot Runner instance and you'll be able to, in the login section, be able to add that token and then connect it to the orchestrator. Now, once it's connected to the orchestrator, it's going to show up in this not approved section here. So this gives you a chance to be able to validate that, yes, this particular bot runner I want connected to this orchestrator instance. And then once it's approved, you'll be able to see it down in the approved list as well. Now, under the approved list, you have the option to deactivate or remove the particular workflow or the bot runner. So you'll be able to, if it's no longer being used or needed, you'll be able to remove it from the orchestrator as well. So that's an overview of our bot runners tab. So next, let's look at give some information as what's in our integrations. So we do have an integration with Zapier, so you'd be able to connect the ElectroNeek bot to Zapier or other applications via the Zapier connectors as well. So you'd be able to kind of add that to as an enhancement or be able to complement the ElectroNeek bot. Now, as well, we also have our own API. So you'll be able to manage the various aspects. So you'll be able to manage the workflows as well as the bot runners through an API as opposed to going through the interface here. As well, we have lots of documentation about how that can be all set up through here. So next, if we look at our settings, so pretty much the only setting we have is to be able to change the name of the orchestrator. So you'll be able to uniquely identify it if you do have multiple orchestrator instances. And under multi-tenancy, so this is where you'll be able to set up connect different orchestrator instances as well as provide access to your current instance to other orchestrator and teams as well. So you'll be able to do that through this interface. So that was kind of an overview of the different aspects of our orchestrator. So from here, let's take a little bit closer look at our recipes. So now our recipes are going to be, here to be able to find a large number of different pre-built bots, as well as tutorials on how to build those different bots. Now we have a wide range of different, as you can see here, different filters that you can set up and be displayed. So you'll be able to click one of these and then it'll quickly be able to filter those based off of the different technologies displayed here. Now each recipe, if we go into there, gives you kind of an overview of the particular use case that we're looking to solve in this particular instance or this particular recipe, as well as any prerequisites that may be needed to be set up beforehand. As well, we also have a bot demo, so you'll be able to see what this particular bot is doing once it's run. As well, we have a step-by-step tutorial, so you'll be able to follow this along and kind of build the bot yourself. As well, you can watch the step-by-step tutorial through a video through here. And you'll be able to download the actual bot files, so you'll be able to import those into Studio Pro easily, as well as download any supporting files. So we're in with the recipes, we're always adding new ones. So keep checking if there's any, as well as if there's any requests. We're definitely open to hearing any sort of use cases that might where we can enhance or add to our recipe list here. So we definitely have a wide range of different recipes and how-to documents here. Now from here, the last part of our automation hub is going to be our IntelliDocs. So the IntelliDocs is where we'll be able to manage the various API keys to access and process those different the different documents. So using this tool, you'll be able to easily process a wide range of different document types. It provides structured information using AI and machine learning and responds back with a JSON format. So as I mentioned before, this is where you'll be able to manage different keys to be able to set up. As well, we do support a number of different document types here. So if we go over to our documentation here, as you can see, we have a number of different, be able to support different finance documents, insurance, healthcare, travel, as well as a number of different document models here. So wide range of different driver's license models, passports, if we go into healthcare, finance documents, so definitely a wide range, as well as it does work really good. And then just the general sort of model is able to pick up quite a lot of different information in that structured format. So that wraps up the main modules of our automation hub. So from here, let's take a look at our service hub. So our service hub is designed to help our clients quickly come on board, as well as get all the help and services they need to be successful. So this includes the support related features such as our support center, our help center, as well as our community forum. So as I mentioned before, access is directly from our account portal here. So you'll be able to, under the service hub here, we'll be able to access the support center. So let's take a closer look at that. So the support center is where you'll be able to create and monitor tickets for incidents, help, or feature requests. To create a ticket, all you simply need to do is just click the create a ticket button at the top here and fill in the necessary fields. So this includes the type. So as I mentioned before, you'll be able to submit questions, feature requests, as well as any product issues you might have. Additionally, you'll also be able to request development support. So that's a little what development support is, and instead of just a regular question or feature request or product issue, is you'll be able to request development support to help you along the line. So if you're working on a project and let's say you've hit some challenges that you're not too sure how to overcome, you'll be able to request development support with our development consultants. They'll be able to assist you in a more technical fashion to be able to get you over those challenges. Additionally, you'll be able to request support for an enterprise bid. So if you are participating in a bid with another client or company, you'll be able to submit that information to us and we'll be able to provide support and assistance on that bid to help you become more successful. As well, you'll be able to ask any security or penetration test questions. So either you or your client may have, if you have any of those questions, you'll be able to submit those to us and we'll be able to provide a response on those. Additionally, you can select the type or product that it's for, give it a subject, description of the issue. You'll be able to add different users to be able to follow up on notified on this ticket, as well as you'll be able to attach files as well. So that's an overview of the Support Center. So next, let's take a little bit closer look at our Help Center. So our Help Center is essentially our extensive knowledge base. So we've grouped the documentation into the three main hubs. So we have everything related to the Business Hub and Automation Hub, as well as our Service Hub here. Additionally, we have different documentation on getting started, how to use the portal, as well as our API documentation, and any release notes for the latest releases through here. You also be able to, as I alluded to when we were talking about Studio Pro, you'd be able to go directly to the various Studio Pro activities through here and get more information. As well, you'll be able to get more documentation on how to use Studio Pro, Bot Runner, as well as the information on kind of different automation how-tos. So be able to read those to get more knowledge on how to use the different activities. So that's kind of everything in our Help Center that's available through there. Next, if we take a look at the last item in our Service Hub, which is our Community Forum. So our Community Forum is where you'd be able to participate and interact with the entire ElectroNeek community. So this is where you can search for existing topics, you can create new ones and questions as well. The great thing about our forum is that it is actively monitored. So instead of relying on just the community to provide answers and help and support, we do monitor this on a daily basis. So you can typically expect to see a response within a day, usually, of your request or question. So that wraps up the various items in our Service Hub. So last but not least, let's take a look at our Business Hub. So our Business Hub includes the assets to help boost your RPA business. So this includes the ability to request new licenses for reselling to your clients, as well as access to our campus and wiki. So if we go into the reselling, so this is where you'll be able to request a new license for Studio Pro and or Orchestrator, which you can then resell to your clients. As well, you'll be able to set up a trial through here as well. So you'll be able to do this all yourself without requiring further processing from our team. You'll be able to kind of do this all yourself. Now, if we go to our campus, so our campus consists of learning materials to help make you and your team automation experts. So we've grouped each course into different journeys. This includes a marketing journey, an executive, as well as sales journey, and as well as our starter kit. So if you filter based off of them, you'll be able to see specific content related to marketing. So you'd be able to see a short video on how to essentially, for example here, how to casebook, how to create or build your casebook, as well as information on how to build your casebook structure. And now these do kind of tie into our wiki. So our wiki essentially is where the documents are stored, and the campus is kind of how to use those documents as well. From here, if we go over to our wiki, so as I mentioned before, this is where kind of interconnected to our campus, where we have all the different documentation related to the various journeys. So you'll be able to navigate here and see kind of downloads those different documentation as well as templates. So for example, a sales deck template in the marketing journey, and different templates as shown here, different presentations as well, all things to help kind of assist you kind of building up your RPA business. So those are the key modules of our Business Hub, and it brings me to the end of this technical platform overview. So I think now we're kind of we're ready to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Yeah, well, we do have some questions in the Q&A here. There's a bunch of them actually, Aaron.
For sure.
So yeah, let's go one by one. Is any browser extension required for browser-based automation?
Yes, so there is an ElectroNeek browser extension that does need to be installed. It is just works with Chrome and I don't believe Edge as well. So that you do need that to be able to kind of automate on the browser itself.
Okay, is there any local OCR supported? Do cloud-based OCR require your own API keys?
It depends. So through, for the most part, yes, you would need an API key. However, for the Microsoft Cloud and the Google Cloud, we do offer or include access to those OCRs without requiring an API key, but it's only through Studio Pro. So you won't. So once it basically helps your development and you'll be able to get started. But then once you do go live or into production with the client, you should have your own account set up to be able to set that up.
All right. How would you extract line item data from a large grid in a Citrix application?
Oh boy, how much time do we got now? Line item data from so first you view, Citrix application, you have to connect to there. And then once you're in that Citrix application or a remote terminal, you will be able to use some of the other like desktop or browser automation tools to be able to extract. Most likely you need to extract probably the desktop automation tools, so you'll be able to use those various activities to then extract that information from there. So it's kind of a very high level, I guess, answer to the question, but it's probably quite more technical, but it should definitely be possible. All
right. How can you view error information for a failed bot run?
For failed bot run, so it would be in the execution logs. You'd be able to see that information. So it will be stored in there in Orchestrator, or if it's running kind of outside of Orchestrator, there are logs that are generated in the system as well. So once you will get a prompt saying, here's an error happened, and you'd be able to get that indication as to where those logs are to then view them.
All right, next one here. Can an automation use methods in an external DLL?
External DLL. That I'm not too sure of, just more so because I'm not sure about the external DLL, I guess. So it depends on how you would need to interact with that. We do have the ability to make command prompts. So if it's through a command prompt, you could do that to execute it. I would need to understand a little bit more about how external DLLs work to be able to adequately answer that, I guess.
All right, one last one here. How could I import a list of tasks for bots to run?
It would be, you could do it through an Excel spreadsheet, a Google Sheet. It could be done through just a query on a database. So lots of different options to kind of gather that information for the bot to kind of take from there and kind of execute kind of one by one. That at least would be my first suggestion. It would be through one of those methods.
Okay. Sorry, we have two more here in the chat still, Aaron. Can I import a data file or make an API request to feed the orchestrated with a batch of automations that need to be run?
Yes, I believe so. So you'd be able to make API calls to the orchestrator itself. So you'd be able to execute and launch workflows using that API. So that I believe that should be possible for sure.
All right, and then the last one, can IntelliDocs be used as a standalone solution?
Not at the moment, I believe. It's all part of our platform and part of our basically the entire package. So right now it's part of the whole package, I guess you could say. But no, those are great questions. Those are probably the hardest questions I've gotten so far.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Looks good. So guys, look here. I think we come to the end of our session today. I'm going to put this QR code here on the screen for you to scan that and book a meeting with us today. We have our account executive standing by, and they will be able to have a more customized one-to-one discussion with each of you to give you more insights on how ElectroNeek can support your business. Okay. So go ahead and scan that QR code. Also look out for our communication for next week's webinar. We have a webinar on IntelliDocs, which will be also a technical demonstration on IntelliDocs on Tuesday, the 28th. Yeah, so look out for that. I think we actually have that in the chat here. There's a link in the chat that you can click on that and also register for that webinar on the 28th. Okay. So again, I want to thank Aaron for awesome insights and joining us here today. Everyone that was connected, thank you very much, and we'll see you on Tuesday.